as far as the house itself and just being a part of the chapter, being a safe space for people of color, there have been like instances where it's like a DEI red flag because it's so bad. This was last semester. We're sitting in chapter and Ruth stands up to make an announcement because Halloween's coming up, and so she says, yeah, we all know Halloween's coming up, and I just want to make everyone aware that I don't want to see any cultural appropriation on Instagram, or like just be aware of what you're putting on as a costume. And then Halloween happened that weekend. The next week I'm sitting in the house and there are 3 girls in this basically like a living room across the room, and I'm on the opposite side. And so I have in headphones because I'm watching a video, taking notes on my lecture, and I pause the video to write something down, and that's when I hear whispering across the room, which is not abnormal because it's a sorority house, but then I heard the word like cultural appropriation be used, and so that's when I started like really tuning in. And then I proceeded to overhear like a 45-minute long racist conversation from girls who were like my friends. You know, I overheard things like, everyone's so sensitive in America nowadays, like it's not my fault I'm white, it's not my fault I don't have curly hair. Yeah, black people have privilege, I should just go have a kid with a black man and have a mixed baby, that way I can have black privilege. Someone else was like, black people get scholarship money thrown at them because they're black and people feel like they need it, but me as a white person, I'm earning my scholarships and I actually deserve them, but I'm not getting them because they're just given away to black people. Other girls were using words like thug, crime, violence, drugs, things like that, and just in the context of what they were talking about, which is super alarming. Oh yeah, someone said, my mom's prejudiced, but that's just because where she grew up, and then, you know, the other girls were like, oh yeah, I get that, totally fine, like that's okay. So at one point I was just listening in shock, and then something like clicked and I was like, okay, write this down, take notes. So I start copying down bits and pieces of what I can hear, and then I take it to Ruth because we live in the house, so she's down the hall from me. I take it to Ruth and she's like, we can make this a CRS case. And at first I was just gonna be mad about it and then get over it, and then I was like, no, this is horrible, like we absolutely need to hold these girls accountable, and so we did. Yeah, a whole case came of that. One girl ended up getting kicked out, the other 2 were put on suspension. During the midst of that, so I reported them, and there was only 4 of us in the room, and 3 of them got called in. So clearly, like, even though I was kept anonymous, it's not hard to figure out I reported them. The chapter president one night and the exec member in charge of this case they both pull me out of my room and bring me to the basement to a secret room, and they're like, yeah, we don't know if this is a safe space for you to sleep tonight. If you want to stay on my couch in my apartment, you can, or like you can stay in my room, like offering up their apartments to me, offering up their houses off campus to me, saying like, if you don't want to live in here tonight, like don't feel like you have to. They offered us, both of us, to be able to change our door codes because it's like kind of common, you're living in a house with your friends, to have your door code just be common knowledge. But yeah, they were like, if you want to change your door code to feel safer, feel free. Ruth ended up doing that. Neither of us slept in the house that night. We stayed off campus, and they straight up told me like, if it gets further than this, we'll get legal action involved. So like, when we say like not a safe space, quite literally not a safe space.